All right, going to thrilldata.com, Walt Disney World wait times, and more. What are we paying attention to, ladies and gentlemen? We're trying to figure out, and oh my, look how crowded it is today at the day of recording, which is December 29th, a 9 out of 10. Friends, we told you that New Year's Eve remains, and New Year's Day, the busiest times of the year. The question is, can Disney catch up to 2024, which was not a good year, in 2025? Well, if they pull this off, if it's shoulder to shoulder, if it is barely any room to breathe, then yes, indeed, they will pass it up. But let's see where they are right now. If we go down using Thrill Data's aggregator website, we're looking for the wait times, and all the way down here, what do you know? We've got it. This lists the wait times for every single month of the year by the month, and well, let's go back to the last Decembers and see how they've been doing in the past. If we go back to December of 2021, the average wait time was 41 minutes. If we go to December of 2022, the average wait time was 46 minutes. December, usually at least up there in the top 3 biggest months of the year for Disney. If we go to December of 2023, the average wait time was 42 minutes. And then, as you can all see, down, 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 the wait times have gone, as we believe, so have the crowds. Down, we believe, about 4% on average during the daytimes. So December of 2024 was all the way down at 33 minutes. And that's not because Disney suddenly became great at managing crowd wait times. No. Disney has put up all kinds of additional barricades to make your wait times longer. Lightning Lane and Lightning Lane Premier have gotten more abrasive. Today, for December 2025, the average wait time is 32 minutes, not even yet caught up with an abysmal 2024. All of that said, if for the last few days Disney can get to a 9 out of 10, well, it's going to be uncomfortable the last few days of the year, but they might actually have a December that at least matches last year. And from a PR perspective, that would be good indeed. Bash, your thoughts?
It's very interesting. I examine the crowd levels and attendance at Walt Disney World this year compared to last and so forth. And what's going to be interesting this year and really going forward from New Year's Eve is the capacity has been reduced in multiple ways, at least with the 2 parks, that being Disney's Hollywood Studios, actually Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom. I do apologize, 3 parks in which they're doing work. When you take it down an attraction like Dinosaur or Muppet Vision 3D, or even like the Rivers of America, you remove that capacity from the equation. And so your max capacity for your park, well, is impacted thusly. When I look at here, New Year's Eve, I think, remains one of those holidays that people do rush in. Disney is known to put on an amazing fireworks display. And so you have, if you don't have tourists, you definitely do have a lot of annual pass holders looking to get in and looking to take advantage of those fireworks celebrations. So no surprise that they might be able to replicate 2024 in terms of the numbers surrounding this specific holiday. But the cracks are already starting to show. In fact, I just saw a video very recently with... otherwise, the parks were very full and everything like that. But like Fantasmic, for example, was completely empty. I believe that was maybe the second showing or something like that. And it was like, whoa, I've never really seen that before, ever. So, there's a lot of things to take into account with this. There's a lot of ways to measure attendance like this. But it's really going to be fascinating when examining the year as we move on with this lost capacity, what it means for the parks.
Let's run through, Vash, and you're exactly right. Let's run through what's happening at the parks on December 29th so people can see. And maybe if you're planning to go to Disney in one of these crazy times, which is basically down to this and the marathon week, and there are a few other times that Disney gets really crowded. The spring break weeks, there's about 3 weeks in April. But this is one of those times when it's crazy busy like it was the entire summer back in the 90s. Magic Kingdom is at a 6 on the crowd levels. It's open until 11. Get ready, folks. This is the wizardry we know here. We're going to explain to you what's going on. Magic Kingdom has a crowd level of 6 out of 10. That's crowded, but just ever so slightly above average. It's open till 11. Epcot is open till 11:30 with extended evening hours. Crowd level 7. However, Hollywood Studios is slammed. 9 out of 10. And I'm telling you right now, if you had to be in any park that's crowded, this is the park you would avoid every time. This park is miserable when it's crowded. And I'm
It's
talking
really
about
tight,
miserable.
Very tight. Yeah. Very
With
tight.
no shade and, it's awful. Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom is, if you're going to deal with a crowded park, it's the best of the parks to deal with crowds.
Yeah.
But it's a 9 out of 10. It's also absolutely slammed in a way that Animal Kingdom rarely is. Now, what's going on here? MJ, I believe that crowds said, okay, and I think they do this every time. They said Magic Kingdom's open till 11. Epcot is open till 11:30. So we're going to go to Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom, and we're going to stay till 6 o'clock or whatever. And then we're either going to go to Epcot or Magic Kingdom and enjoy the evening. And thus the slam begins on the other parks. That's what's going on here. And people need to pay attention to this because that might seem like the obvious thing to do. Sometimes what you need to do is the unobvious thing. And that is, do you see the other parks? Do they have lesser hours? Don't go to them because on an extended day, you actually want to reverse it. You want to go to Magic Kingdom. Like, let's say Magic Kingdom has extended hours and no after hours party. Go to Magic Kingdom in the morning and then park hop over to the other parks like Animal Kingdom. I'll guarantee you by 5 or 6 p.m., Animal Kingdom will be a ghost town, even though it's slammed right now. MJ, your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It's a strategy. So that's what they want. But I feel like right now, because the only annual pass that's allowed to go into the Magic Kingdom is the top tier one that's like $1,600. I feel like they're forcing people to upgrade their annual passes so they can enjoy the Magic Kingdom park. But it's not even that. Their ticketing, if you go on their website, which I was doing recently, I said, wow, they have an amazing deal for Florida and Georgia residents, and they're pushing them to the other 3 parks so they steer away from Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom is already sold out for the New Year celebration. You can't get in. There's no more reservations. It's sealed. It's done. I think it is smart pro for people to go to Epcot because it is open the latest from what you were showing, 11:30. But I really think that it's a strategy that they're doing. They're pushing people to park hop and keeping some of the parks open later than normal. But what's really strange is that why would you close the Magic Kingdom at 11 and keep Epcot open till 11:30? And then I was curious about the hours that are going to be on Wednesday. I don't know if we have that available, but I'm wondering if they're going to be open till 1 a.m. on Wednesday. I was just curious because I didn't see that on their website.
I'm not 100% sure about that. They tend to stay open very, very late. I would be shocked if they're not because people want to stay there till midnight and then you got to flush, everybody out of there. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. Jonas, when we look at how the parks have been performing, they're just now catching up with last year's December. Last year's December was not good by any stretch of the imagination. What are your thoughts on what this means for Disney as they're scrambling to catch up with the last year's likely attendance in a year that was supposed to be, hey, we're back on track again?
I think that Disney is very firm in their trend towards more expensive, higher paying guests and in a lower number of us poor folk who would go and know how to keep our wallets in check. I think that Disney's strategy right now is to go for those higher ticket people, those higher per caps per person. I think that the parks being less crowded is not good for the appearance of the park because the lower the crowds, the less they can sell lightning lanes. But I'm not yet saying that this is a huge, any more than the current issue of people being less interested in Disney.
Yeah, I'm not sure that it means people are less interested in Disney, but I do think that in terms of, how much do people want to go to the parks when it's this crowded? It's tough to say. Disney is a strange place because it seems to be either ghost town or crammed. And that's not a great system. So we'll see. But the holidays, lots of people. The not holidays, tumbleweeds. Vash, I'll give you the last thoughts on this. And I'd really like to hear your thoughts on this versus Disneyland, because I don't get the sense that Disneyland is anything like this. I think for folks who listen into us, they may get the wrong idea about what's going on in California. It's a totally different system over there in terms of attendance.
Yeah, it is a very different system because you have such a huge annual pass holder population. The most recent revision of these passes, that being the Magic Keys, none of them actually have access to the parks during this time. These are blocked out at every single level in order to control that pass holder population. Because what people used to do is they used to use their annual passes and get in on like New Year's Eve, for example, and completely overrun that park. They used to have to close down the parking structures, close down access to the gates, and so forth. And it was really tough to get in there. So yeah, it has fallen off a little bit, but this is beyond Disney. Look, Disney is traditionally where you celebrate the big celebrations, right? And so for the new year, whether it be Walt Disney World or even Disneyland, people are incentivized to go in there and take advantage of these fireworks demonstrations that, honestly, quite frankly, Disney is one of the best in the industry at performing.
Well said, Vash. We'll pay attention.
I just want to add something really quick to this. I also feel like with the extended hours that the park is offering, it's pushing people to stay at their resorts. They want people on site. They want people in their resorts, and they're trying to give them the incentive of, yeah, you could stay later, enjoy the parks later at night. This week is the week for that. People want to be at the parks late, right? The whole week. So I think that they're really pushing a strategy, and that whole thing about the annual pass holders, the ones with the top tier being able to get in. I really think that they're pushing that more than ever because, like Jonas said, they want a specific type of, guests in their park, especially at the Magic Kingdom for New Year's. That's why they're steering everyone away. But that's just my thought. Plus, next year, I was checking on their website. They have a lot of offerings for extra, for special ticketed events for evenings, like starting at 6, 7 p.m. all the way till like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to keep my eyes on that. It's Epcot, Magic Kingdom, and Hollywood Studios from what I saw so far. And it extends.
It makes them a lot of money.
Year. Yes.
Makes them a lot of money. Folks, by the way, we're not against that. We support them having evening hours. Yes. And the reason for that is because it helps with crowd levels and it makes them money. So that's a win-win for everybody. We just wish that Epic Universe and Islands of Adventure would get into that game. There should be far more evenings to ride Velocicoaster and Mario Kart and everything else that's at those other parks named Universal.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.